The following program is a public access production. Comcast is required to provide time on this channel and make it available pursuant to franchise agreements with the communities we serve. Comcast is not affiliated with the following program or the producers of public access programming and is not responsible for the content. The following program does not reflect the opinions of Comcast or its affiliates.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. This is me, Ms. Rhonda B., coming to you from Voices of Mass Discussion. I am so glad that you're here with us this evening. I'm going to introduce you to our guest, which is Mr. Keith Griffin. He's a trustee out of University Park. And this is still the day that my buddy, my partner in crime, Ms. Maureen Forte, is not able to join us. But I have another partner here. We sort of indoctrinated her. She was trying to be like a little innocent housewife, and we've converted her. And that's Miss Mary T. from Mary T. Perspective.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so now we have Keith Griffin. He is currently an elected official there in University Park. He's a trustee. He too is known to be a little bit of a rebel-riser. So he came into office. He came into office via conflict with the former mayor, Al McCowan, there in University Park. He had deep commitment and loyalty to the current mayor, Miss Vivian Covington. But because he's a rebel-riser, it doesn't take much to get him all rattled. So we have invited him in today so that, first of all, he can tell a little bit about some of the goals and aspirations he has as elected official there in University Park. And then I want to ask him personally what happened to that marriage between him and the current mayor. Mr. Keith, thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
You had to speak up. He's a little nervous.
I am.
We don't bite. It's the same Mary and Rhonda. You know why he's nervous? Because when the people in University Park see him sandwiched between the two of us, he think they're his friends. So then now they're gonna admit that we didn't like you anyway. But go on.
Well, that's nothing new. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here, and I'm here to answer questions, anything that they may have. I'm ready and willing to answer all questions. So thank you again for having me.
Okay, and Mary, since it's more your territory, I'm sure you may have more questions than myself. Because my thing is, Keith is a hard worker. He, like I say, he's a bit controversial. He does not get along well with those who try to step on the everyday people. So he will speak up for you. So okay. That's one of the things we can.
Well, welcome, Keith. And then
Thank you,
I want you to calm down. You know, it's just we're just having a conversation, pretending that the camera's not here.
Yes, ma'am.
And speak from your heart. Now, I first met you. I know I would go to the board meetings, and there was this person always speaking out. And when I tried to, people would ask me, "Well,
why are they complaining?" But go on.
Okay, what happened at the board meeting? I said, "Well, you know that guy that was always up there talking about this or talking about that." Well, I could never remember his name. And the only time that I remembered his name was when someone associated him as part of the Three Stooges, and because I was interested in knowing, what is this guy talking about? And where is he getting his information? And why is he so interested? Because like me, I think that the government belonged to the people. Well, I took interest in that civic class that I took way back in high school and pursued it. So I'm under the impression that I can take part in the government. And then he seemed like he always had an issue, and he's always on something that but these were things that he believed in. And you know that if you're not part of the solution, you be part of the problem. So I guess he decided that I'm going to be part of the problem. He I think, did not see himself as a politician, but they're a part of the solution. But he just wanted to, thank you. But he wanted to, I believe, just try to correct some wrongs or air his opinion about something. And that's what I'm always about. I'm about protecting the person's right to say what they have to say, because we do live in a democracy without infringing on someone else's rights. So, with that said, he went on and decided to become a politician, and he ran for office and ran. And won. But I was floored. Just like Ms. Harrison, people thought that she could not win, the last person we interviewed. But he ran and he won. And I'm thinking, oh, let's pay attention to this guy.
Thank you. I am so grateful to the people of University Park for allowing me to serve them. I did have issues with the last mayor. I just felt he ran the village like a dictator. Whenever you had a problem or concern, he seemed to turn you off or very abrupt and sharp with you, and I didn't like that. I had an issue, yes, I did. I had an issue with my house and the fact that it was an ongoing problem. It happened, and I kept, what happened was the builder would come out and like do a patchwork job. So I got tired of that. So I went to the village hall and voiced my concern. And eventually, about 2 days later, I got fired as a police officer of University Park.
Because he threatened the mayor. Go on.
No.
Let's be truthful.
No.
Go
Okay,
on.
wait a minute. Let
Go
me
on.
say this. I got
Just a sidebar.
No, that's an objection. I did not threaten the mayor. What I did was that particular day, because I never went up there, and Ms. Trust right, I had no aspiration of being in politics. So I went up there. I was going to the meeting this particular night. My neighbor, next door neighbor, asked me, "What are you going up there
Don't
for?"
curse because we are going to be on air.
And I said, I'm going to voice my concerns about the mayor, about the concern. So his words were, "What are you going up there for? He's not going to do blank." And I went up there, I voiced my concern. When I got back from the meeting, my neighbor came out of his house. He asked, "What happened?" I said, "Nothing." He laughed. He said, "I told you he wasn't going to do blank." And that got me concerned and put me in the motion to run for office. And that's why I ran for office.
Okay, so now we fast forward to the new election, and they now have a new mayor in University Park who's currently seated by banana peel. We did go to court yesterday, and there is a legal contest taking place. There was a petition filed by one of the current trustees who also ran for mayor. Apparently, for the race in University Park, the mayoral seat was 457 votes. Trustee Joe Rudaz, he had 455 votes. So because of that 2-vote margin, and based on a little research they've done, they feel that there was some fraud and misrepresentation that took place. So they took the situation to court. And to everybody's surprise, the judge that was hearing it has decided to let it proceed. So in April of this year, 2012, they will have a trial. And what Joseph Rudaz and his camp is hoping that they either throw out 2 of her votes, or that they allow 5 of his disenfranchised voters, which I'm not even sure how that'll work because you can't let them vote when there's a non-election, or they'll throw out 5 votes that they have affidavits from individuals stating that those people did not physically go there and vote themselves, which would constitute voter fraud. I personally am following this case with great interest because if it turns out that the courts recognize that there was voter fraud, that's a federal situation. So University Park will once again be making history, as it has done over the years. First of all, their current mayor is a female, so historically they have set the first female mayor there in University Park, the same as there in Gary, Indiana. So I admire her and compliment her for that. But if there's fraud that's taking place, that's a federal issue. Election fraud is nothing that we take lightly here in the United States. So, but that aside, that's just giving you a little insight into what's going on there in University Park. But give us, Keith, I don't want to put you on the spot, but you started off as a blind and loyal supporter of Larry Barnes, which also ran for mayor. He's trustee Larry Barnes.
Brown.
Oh, Lord. Okay, Larry Brown.
Yes, ma'am.
He started off as a loyal supporter of Larry Brown, who also ran for mayor. And Larry Brown, I personally had admired up until maybe here recently, because he too, prior to you even getting involved, was always outspoken and seemed to have been a voice for the people. Now there seems to be a dynamic change there in University Park. I'm just mentioning this. I don't want you to comment on this because you have to work with him. I want to know a little bit about what you're doing and some of the concerns that residents bring to you that you're trying to work on and make sure that you remain a voice for the people.
Yes, ma'am. I was very outspoken with our past village manager and was able, with this past election, to bring in a new village manager. We made some changes in the law firms and some more employees that we thought was keeping the village back, and we was able to install new peoples in those positions. My concern is that I want to work on a store, to at least bring a store. And I think an outside entity must maintain that store. I don't think the village should be involved in that. There's a lot of just fraud and theft with that last store that the village ran, and the FBI is still investigating that. But I've been working on trying to bring a store to the village and trying to bring economic development, other businesses to the village. That is my goal that I've been working on.
Yeah, and one of the things to Keith's credit is during the last election, he did campaign heavily on trying to hold the government more accountable, which was the former mayor at that point, and then also bringing in a more neutral village manager. Now, I guess he has 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other, because he was successful in bringing in a new village manager, but the verdict is still out as to how neutral this particular village manager is, because my understanding is that it's a mixed bag. Everybody's not completely satisfied with him. Again, I don't expect you to comment on that because you have to work with these people. But the store, now you see there in Robbins, they have a new store potentially coming there in the community.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and in Cutchogue Hills, our mayor misled us, as he's done on many occasions, and told us that the fruit market, you know, like Pete's in Harvey and Dixmoor, but they've actually filed bankruptcy the other day, so that won't be happening anytime soon. And they also had the Pete's market there in Park Forest, and it closed up.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Now, okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
now, what inroads have you made as far as making contacts with stores?
I've talked to Ultras. I talked to Ultras. They're supposed to be getting back to us. I also talked to Aldi's, one of the VPs from Ultra. They haven't came back yet, but I would love to get at least a Ultra or a Aldi's for the village. I think that would be astronomical. That would be beautiful for the village. I have an outside, I guess 97% African-American town with no store. I think that's a travesty.
Yeah, but you know what, now who does the feasibility study? Because a business is not going to come to a community just because it's a nice thing to do. Somebody has to do the research, somebody has to do the study to see if the residents in the community would support such a large venture.
Yes, ma'am. That's being worked on by, I forgot his name, from Ultra, and our new village manager. They are working on that study, and hopefully you have a positive conclusion soon. But they are working on that.
Okay, I have a question here. Now, we have an empty, basically almost an empty shopping center there.
Yes, ma'am.
And we have a few businesses in the shopping center, but we have quite a few stores that are empty. And we've sent people there, and they've been told that they have no vacancies. My question is, if there are no vacancies, these stores have been sitting empty for quite some time. And the stores that are there, are they paying rent enough to, are these hearsays? What are your opinion, too, about a government actually running a shopping center? Should we be actually in the shopping center? Should a government actually be in the business of retailing?
No, ma'am. I don't feel that a government should be in the business of retailing. I feel that they should or try to sell that shopping center to someone. But the way it is now with the economy and the way things are now, it would be hard, because it's less than half full. But now some of the retailers in there, like
Don't call me.
No.
oh, some of the people that's in there, they are paying rent. Some are. And
You know what, I
some
have a
aren't.
question. I'm not of the opinion that the government shouldn't necessarily own the real estate, because real estate is always something good to own. But why doesn't someone have the forethought to suggest and make the necessary arrangements that that property be managed by a commercial real estate firm? So that, first of all, it can be properly managed and properly maintained, and then to ensure that the current occupants are paying rent on a regular basis as the village residents are assuming this taking place.
That's a good point. I will convey that to the village manager, that I feel that maybe an outside retailer or company should manage that.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
you know, or not just somebody's friend, but an actual commercial real estate company, that's what they do, is lease commercial real estate property.
Okay.
And they have the expertise in this more so than a village manager or a public entity. Now,
Right,
this is
correct.
something that
And it doesn't cost the village anything, because their pay, because they're paid on commission. So their pay would be a percentage of what they, of managing the place.
Yes.
So it's not like it's a expense, not that you guys are concerned about wasting money there in University Park.
I am concerned about that.
Okay.
My head been bit off a number of times because I have brought things or made a legitimate complaint to our current mayor and about certain things, because I asked for certain files and for the FOIA. I don't ask for FOIA, I just go and ask for information, and my head is bitten off constantly. So that being said, it doesn't matter what they say. I'm still going to try to fight and do what I can for the people and try to get answers.
Now, that's interesting that they would challenge you about asking for freedom of information, which you shouldn't even have to go that extra step, because this whole administration, this new administration, ran on open and honest and transparent government. So therefore, it should be just a simple request that you can ask for, and they'll just hand you the sheet of paper. Because to go the extra mile to put it in writing to ask for the freedom of information pretty much means that somebody's resistant to giving it to you.
And then what do they have to hide?
Okay, now that part, Mrs. Truss, I don't know, but I have asked. I've asked for different things on bills payable, and the things I've asked for, I've gotten a call back from the mayor, and she seemed very upset and belligerent because I've asked for certain things. And my question is, why would you get upset when I'm just asking for just to see what something costs, or just to see what this bill is, or just to see what a certain item is, and therefore you come at me hard because I'm asking for information so I know what's going on in the village.
Well, that sounds like another issue there, a communications issue, or there's something going on there that definitely the mayor is the leader of the village, and the board is, you were elected by the people to represent the people, but the mayor is definitely the leader, and I don't know why this team could, that team ran on open and honest government, and for some reason you guys are not on the same, she's not been able to put her, to put everything in order. You've not been able to form the kind of leadership for you guys to follow. There's definitely something going on there, and when there's that much things going on, it's bound to affect the people of the village. And now, the board actually met recently with a retreat, and were you able to cooperate at that point and set your agenda for the year?
Yes, ma'am. We had met to set our agenda on most things. Each trustee is a liaison to a specific department in the village as far as that, but
What are your commissions? What departments are you
Okay,
in?
my commission is Department of Public Works.
And what does Public Works do?
Public Works deals with the infrastructure, roads, bridges, fixing of the lights, the water, like the water lights, roads, bridges. That's my concern.
Now, I would have to say this, since you guys changed over your Public Works Director and the leadership in Public Works. I know when I was coming out to University Park at the board meetings on a regular basis, they were always concerned in residents coming about not having adequate street lighting, because the poles were there, but the light bulb will be out, and they were slow about replacing it. So that hasn't seemed to come up as of late. So
I have been on that. I have really been on that issue. We have just about fixed all the lights. It's maybe one, maybe two out, but the majority of those lights are on now.
oh, I commend you guys for that, because that was a big issue for years.
And I have been instrumental in getting that done, and I have voiced my opinion to the village manager about that department.
Now, let me ask you then, what about the young lady who had contacted me about the debacle there coming out of the Metro train? She had a slight fender bender, and, right now it's sort of school's out. But in a couple of weeks, Governor State will be starting back, and so the residents and the users who try to go into the train in the morning run into a problem, and it's really bad in the evening coming out. And I know you looked into that.
Yes, ma'am. I looked into that, and I talked to our new police chief, and he assured me that that matter would be addressed.
I wonder if he ever went up there to assess the situation himself.
He said he did. I can only go back.
He said he was going to it.
Yes, ma'am. He said he was going to. I asked him about 3 weeks ago. He said he did go out.
Oh, okay.
And he said he looked at it, and he said that he would be making sure that they have coverage up there in the evening for that metro station.
Okay, so that's another thing, too, I'd like to commend you guys about, because the young lady who had expressed a concern, now she did follow up and say that she was very pleased with the response that she did get. Because a lot of you guys, elected officials, you did respond back and, tell her that you were going to look into it and see what could be done. That's a couple of feathers in your cap.
And that's where it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
That's where when the citizens, you're there for the people. When the people have a concern, then you try to solve the issue and the problem. And there is a bottleneck there. And I do understand that we're supposed to be widening those roads to try to eliminate some of that bottleneck and the traffic there, because the trains are coming in. You get the people going to and from the train, and you get the schools where the classes are starting at Governor State, which is very good. That means progress is going on there. We've increased the enrollment at Governor State, so that's good. What other commission are you a liaison to?
I'm just on that one commission, ma'am.
Just only one?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
You know what, they, right there at what's that road, what's that street in Cicero, west of the train, and they got the gas station?
Governor's Highway.
No, yeah, west of that, Cicero.
Stunkel.
Yeah, okay,
Stunkel.
and then there seems to be some development taking place over there.
They put a cold storage over there.
Mm-hmm.
They put a cold storage over there.
Mm-hmm.
They put Clorox on the south end, farther on the south end, and then Clorox come on. They're thinking about bringing in another company yet. They're talking to, but they haven't let me know what that company is yet. But that's probably coming. We did go over there and fix those roads on the west from Cicero to Central, which were bad. It wasn't done. It looked like a crater. We did dig that out and repave that over there. It should have been done, but it wasn't. But it has been done now.
Oh, you know what? I need to do a follow-up with Debbie Howison, that's running for the Congress seat, because, I forgot to ask her, what about the plans with Metro expanding south to the Kankakee area? Have you heard anything about that?
I heard that, what I've been hearing is that Metro is going to go to, I believe, to Peatone, I believe it's going to go to Peatone.
But that's not that far, Peatone.
No, it's a little bit farther than Peatone. I'm sorry, it's a little bit farther than Peatone.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to go all the way out to Kankakee. Yeah.
And is that to accommodate the airport in connection with the new airport being built, the third airport?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. Now, another question. I've noticed that we have put up a memorial for the veterans. Now, first thing I want to know is, were you a part of that, or whose planning was that, and who decided to put that in that particular spot? And I got a follow-up question behind that.
Okay,
And it's a good thing.
Of course, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing now.
But so who?
Okay, now I'm gonna let you know.
I'm sorry, I want to look around you.
That's all right. I didn't know anything about it until it was just about through.
So how many people participated in that?
Okay, now when it was over, all the trustees were there to participate in the ribbon cutting ceremony. But as far as the
planning.
I don't know nothing about it.
You don't know how that came?
I believe it came through the mayor. From my understanding, it came through the mayor, but I didn't know anything about that. I was asking for, that was one of my things that I guess got her angry. I was just asking for bills payable, the cost of the item.
Well, you guys, we won't get involved in that because you guys are probably settled that.
But Ms. Trust, we actually need to see if we get the opportunity to meet with your mayor, because based on the things that I'm hearing, I'm sort of suspect of the transparency, because that was one of the biggest problems with the previous administration, that everything was my way or the highway. So I'm not getting too much feedback that this current administration is any more transparent.
So are you saying that there actually hasn't been any change when this administration that we have now ran on open and honest government, and so and everything would change? So has anything changed?
Some things have changed.
Some things for good, better or worse?
Some things for
good,
and
some things for worse. But if you're spending any parts of village funds and everyone on that board is not aware of it in advance, that's not being very transparent.
Well, I agree.
Because as a resident, you should be able to pick up the phone and ask any elected official what's going on if we're being open, honest, and transparent.
Well, I agree with that. Again, I was just asking for what it cost. I think it's a good idea for the veterans. I have no problem with that. That wasn't my problem. My problem was, you said that we were going to be notified of certain things, and I wasn't notified of that particular item, and I wasn't. And all I asked for is information about that.
Okay, because that was an expenditure on the part.
Yes, ma'am.
But the other thing, the reason why I was concerned about it, wanted to know if you were involved in that at all, was because that is built on an outlet, which can be very valuable property. Why was that site chosen, and why not round all that vacant land we have around by the police department with the other first respondents to an issue? Usually, if there's some kind of emergencies, the police department is called, the fire department, and the Army or the National Guard. So why wasn't it put? We had a lot of land there that we could have put a memorial wall up there, as opposed to using all that expensive land there that could have been sold or used for an outbuild. Those are called outlots.
Yes,
that we could have put a McDonald's there, or any other kind of building, like as they did on Western Avenue. They developed some of those eatery places into a store, and into one is going into a State Farm office. So that was a concern as a resident, as a taxpayer, is why it was put there, and who made the decision to put it there on such valuable land. And nobody wants to uproot or change a veteran. In the event that property is sold later on down the line, many things can happen.
Well,
I'm concerned about the planning.
Because our time is going on. I'm going to take you up.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.